Man shapes places, providing them with time and meaning. He manages its resources and adapts them to his own needs. He lives and dies, dwells and believes in those places because, as the places themselves, he also exists and evolves. But what is the place of man in the history and the history of man's life in the land of Sever? It is in this context that around 6,000 years ago we find the first evidence of human action in the Sever territory, dolmens. Majestic and eternal, these monuments were more than mere stone graves. They were temples built on sacred ground, devoted to the cult of the ancestors. In prehistory, sacred territories were also marked by standing stones, menhirs, and by rocks carved with mysterious signs. Their creators were people of faith who believed in the eternity of their spirit. The 3rd millennium BC opens a new era, the Metal Age, first copper, then bronze, and finally, in the dawn of history, iron. By the end of the Bronze Age and during the Iron Age, about 3,000 years ago, on the hilltops of the land of Sever, settlements that controlled the territory and its access routes were built. Thus, settlements were fortified, like Castelo in Cedrim or Cabeço do Aro in Silva Escura, at a time when this region attained a strong economic impulse due to its rich mineral resources. At that time, conditions were created for the emergence of strong leaders who flaunted their power through prestige goods, which were often objects imported from other regions with which they traded. Like the gold jewels from Val da Malhada in Vila Seca, dated to the Iron Age. The Metal Age is therefore a period of icons. From the simple jewels to the complex motifs carved on rocks, these communities acquired new habits and different burial rituals with individual graves and incineration practices. There were also the mineral resources that brought the Romans to this region. In the 1st century, the first explorations of lead and silver took place in the mines of Malhada at Silva Escura. Roads were fundamental to the transport of raw materials. The road section at Herrera is an example of this. Dated to the 3rd century, it was used for the transport of metal, such as lead, silver and copper, probably extracted from Telhada's mines. The Middle Ages see the birth of the nation, and it is in this context that the king's power uses nobility and clergy as essential links to the conquest and settlement of these lands. Through the donations of conquered lands, monarchs obtained the loyalty of their nobles. In these lands, they founded their family monasteries, as we find in Rocas, Cedrim and Sever, of which there are no material remains left. In 1135, in the village of Sever, a new monastery was founded under the invocation of St. James, and another one, probably on the site of Ermida, which followed the rule of St. Benedict. In the 12th century, the century of the formation of Portugal, the unequivocal imposition of the elites of Portugal across the territory caused it to become an independent kingdom in 1143. Between the 14th and 15th centuries, various donations and allowances were conceded to the Vouga lands. However, it was only in 1514, under the rule of King Dom Manuel, that the charter was assigned to the county of Sever. As to the religious domain, in the dawn of modern times, evidence of religious piety was introduced and materialized in the form of the proliferation of crusades and stylistic renovation of churches. In the 18th century, due to the exponential economic growth, the Baroque influences were well expressed in the main church of Cedrim or in the chapels attached to stately houses. In this period, the territory of Sever saw the rise of stately nobility and with it came the construction of manor houses called solares. Agriculture gained a new impulse with the arrival of new products like tomato, potato and maize, which was processed into flour in the numerous watermills which abound along the waterlines of this territory. Industrialization represented a major additional impulse to the lands of Sever, demanding of the people a greater effort of adaptation and resource management. The bridges of Poço de Santiago and Pessegueiro, as well as the railway line and mining, represent the growing modernization of the county. Here, the place is more than a mere site. It encapsulates all moments of the memory of a people. It is the sum of the time that passed, stories and remembrances that remain. It is the weight of the involvement of land, time, and of the relation between man and nature. It is childhood memories of times past and of those that we no longer recall. It is the wind whistling in the trees and forest sounds inundating the silent night. It is the aroma of those everlasting delicacies and the intensity of its flavours. It is the freezing cold winter and the torrid summer air. It is the light touch of wise hands on our face and the lips that kiss us. It is affections that unite us and make us feel at home. It is an accumulation of experience, both lived and remembered. It is something that cannot be captured in a photograph, a book, or in this documentary. It is the vocation, soul, and talent of each territory. It is the sum of all these features and rhythms that provides Sever de Vouga with a unique identity, the spirit of the place.